Hello there. Welcome to this channel where we talk sail racing with a nerdy twist. Yeah, nerdy means that we're gonna have both models to discuss the situations. We got the agenda when we're gonna go into the details. We got also rules. Um, and yeah, we have the replay videos, and also at certain point we'll jump into the data. Yeah, so today we got the goggles over here, so it means that we're gonna talk again speed racing. So today we're gonna be talking watch party San Fran. Gonna keep the goggles here. I think it's a little bit cringe to have them on. So but you know what it's all about. So it's gonna be high speed racing. So what do we have today? Watch party for San Francisco. So as always, streaming it first to just to one channel to Patreon makes it easier. And later on, just will be replaying it also on Instagram. If you are interested, TikTok for a moment, they revoked my channel. I think it might be that I'm only there on gaming rights there. So let's see, I will apply in 30 days, but might be that I will only stream the e-sailing there. So we'll see about that. But anyway, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, if you want to watch the replay. If you're watching that one in the replay and you don't want to watch the whole stream, YouTube is the place to watch, and Facebook place to watch. Cool. What are we gonna discuss today? Just a second. Too many screens. If I will find my mouse, then I will discuss. So today we're gonna be obviously discussing big elephant in the room. So Australian wing collapse, a lot of interesting things coming from there. Then what else? For those of you who watched the previous discussions from Auckland and from Sydney. Yeah, you noticed that I discussed a lot about the Rule 57 reckless sailing and Rule 14 about the damage points. So, and now I think it's since it was really happening, so the producers of SailGP probably understood that this is an interesting topic. I actually noticed that. And then there will be explanation from Craig. And when I opened this from the channel, I realized that that was one of the probably the most watched segment of the day one. As you can see, all the other race here is just a little bit low. Now this segment about the damage and rules actually peak. And then, of course, at the end of the show, some replays seems to be quite big. But yeah, that's the nerd in me likes that seems to be an interesting topic. But yeah, let's hear. I discussed a lot about it last episode, so you can go and check it somewhere in the archive in YouTube, so you'll see the situation. But there will be a quick explanation from Craig. So Spain win. I think it was pretty obvious, but I think it was a really interesting aspect there, which actually made it win. Maybe was not covered that much by commenters. I'll go there. Then the Team GBR, yeah, I don't know what was going on. Surprising. I don't know. If we have time, I will leave it maybe till the end. We have time, we'll maybe go. And then I have some recordings of tactics for side by side. Let's see if it would work on that small screen, but we can try. Experimenting now here. A few other topics. I have collection of the places about the boat handling about that plug in USA at the Leeward Gate. A lot of interesting umpire situations and something, but that one I'm not going to be discussing today. I think we'll leave it for another time. So Yeah, where would start? Let's actually start with this second topic, and let's watch what Craig has to say about the damage points and Rule 57, reckless sailing.
Rule 57, it applies at all times. So from the moment you get on site to the moment you basically pack your boat away, this rule applies. So look after your equipment. So this was pre-race. On the way out to the start line, there was, damage caused. So we look at, how that damage was caused. On the wing, on the wing, on the wing. To get you, we got a broken wing. We decide whether it could have been avoided, and if we come to a conclusion it could have been avoided, which we did, then there's a points penalty imposed. So for USA, it was a really tough day because not only could they not take part in the racing, they also come away with some season penalty points as well.
So yeah, you have this a number of different points. That which is also described over here that we looked last time. Where is it? Yeah. So I think we can look at the penalty points which are applied. Yeah, I think it's an umpire section, yes. So as you can see here that we can have between 2 points, which was actually given to Denmark for the touch that will be described now, to, for example, 8 points, which was given to the US. And I think there is a difference in here that it is clear for the 8 points that there is a damage for the boat. Or actually, I think for the season points, to get 8 season points, you need to have a serious damage during the event. And I think for Denmark, when they touched the mark the first time, it was they got 2 points because they managed the boat in a way likely to cause the damage because it was not clear evidence. But I think for the second one, which we're going to see right now, it was definitely much more points. Let's jump in there once again.
Also fell into Rule 57. They caused serious damage which they could have avoided. In the contact between Germany and Brazil.
And this one we exactly discussed also previously. I think it came to another discussion of a tight rounding in the or a tight situation, and actually what it means to be avoiding the other boats to comply with the rule 14, even if you have a right of way. And I think the one that they're going to show here, it's the situation with Brazil. So let's see.
But at the same time, as a right-of-way boat, you've still got to keep a good lookout. And so really, they really weren't sure where Germany were. And so even it got to the point where they really should have been doing something earlier, but they didn't. And so they also break Rule 14 because they could have avoided contact. So we then compare, the Germany and Italy incident. Germany were the clearest stern boat, Italy were clear ahead.
Okay, so basically in the previous situation, couldn't have said more clearer than Craig. That's exactly what we discussed, that the Brazil boat could have reacted and tacked away earlier, even though they were right of way. But yeah, this one, the last one, we did not actually review, but let's just look at it. So it wasn't previously on the channel.
And essentially, Germany ran into the back of it. And so, really, Italy were passengers in that whole incident. And so we look at that and say, what could Italy have done? And the answer was nothing. And so they don't break Rule 14.
All right. So this was very good discussion. So I think hopefully with this one, we're going to close the topic. We've been talking about the damage points for now, I think several streams, but there was a lot of reasons for the damage. So now we're going to discuss and jump into the next topic, which is actually also about the damage, but I think this is a slightly different. So first of all, I think we just looked at the investigation of the there was an investigation going on, but SailGP haven't really yet shared the exact reasons. I think they're probably still exploring. So just went there and compared the videos which was available. So trying to see what was possible. What was happening? I don't know even we have enough data to do the possible reasons, but let me just share what was actually just shared before, and then after that one, we can also look at the replays. There we go. Let's watch. Is there sound? Got it. Where's the sound? No, no, no. So actually, let's start with another one. Oh, no. It's a...
On the Umpire app. This moment when Australia's wing collapsed, and you can see a small touch with the Italian boat. However, it's not clear if the wing already collapsed at this time or not. It's very possible that it's collapsed. So the tap looked quite light, and there's not really big evidence of the damage between the hulls. So it's very possible that first the wing gave in, and then there was a slight contact. But we'll have to wait until the investigation is done.
Okay, that was my first day actually right after the event, and I tried to investigate. Then next day I looked, actually there is a more footage that came. How can I make it bigger? Yeah, maybe like... So yeah, here like next day they published more footage. So let's look at it once again. This is not really great. I cannot replay. Let's cannot scroll there and back on Instagram. Okay.
Look at the wingwings first. coatings wrap film change slightly. This is a next step when leach clearly start to break. But was the contact a trigger for collapse? Let's look at another angle. Again, look at the leach first. Now, this is the first sign. Look where the hulls are. No sign of camera shake indicating the bump. Though could be result of 360 camera stabilization. Now look for the rudder clearly visible due to spray in background. I am leaning towards that likely no hard contacts between Australia and Italy, maybe contact with the Italy rudder, but still call it not likely. And that wing failure happens first anyway. What do you think? Australia wing collapse.
Right. So that was day 2 when there is much more footage came in there. So it was now that there was no probably contact, even though it was actually shown on the umpire app because the hulls were just really under. I think the last one, no, there was one more. I think, let's see. There was one video from, let me get it from the, so there was one more video from the US boat, and I have it in the vertical now over here. So let me just find when it's turned horizontal. That's, I think, the video, but let me have the commentary there. No, actually, I don't have the commentary, but I will just talk it through. Okay, found. So there we go. I think this is now the video. It's a little bit grainy, but just coming with a bit of a zoom from the US boat. And actually, you could see now from here, if you watch at this spot first, and you can see that there is a compression now here appears. So there is basically mast is or glass of fiber is, sorry, the carbon fiber is compressing over here. And I don't think there is any damage here on the leech, and only now as a result, leech starts to crack there. So I would say that if I look maybe at the frame by frame, so the first moment when this appeared, there is no disintegration yet on the leech. Obviously, that's already maybe affecting, but I think this has actually made me start to think that using this evidence, and there is that this probably must be a must. Yeah, there we go. And I think the final video, it was always always an interesting result just to look, is this something that the teams did wrong, or is this something that could have been, like, avoided in any way, even though teams didn't know wrong, but if there's something that they could have done differently. And then honestly, spoiler alert, I don't think there is anything sus there. I think they did everything pretty okay. And then I think what I'll probably want to now find what they have done previously to the prior to it from the new angles that we're gonna watch in the replay. But yeah, let's look at this one. The crew have done from the angle it's taken from inside the Australia boat. Here we go. Give me a second to go.
Something's forward. Let's view from another angle. Wheel it backwards and forward full turn. Nothing interfering with wing grip. Flight controllers to leverage down. Always collapse. And from another angle. We can draw now. Wing flaps started. Trigger the collapse.
Okay, that's basically the summary. So I think it all looked okay. To listen to that, of course, roll from some to it easily, which just it's pretty normal to me. Yeah. So let's actually now look at the let's look at now the new uh, footage, which is coming now from replay. Usually, if you go to the SailGP site, they don't have replay. But the best of just so in order to watch the things is to watch during the event, because then you actually have everything. But the replays then is not available for 3, 4, 5 days sometimes. I think this one came like yesterday. Yeah, let's watch. How does it look? Let's actually screen cam first. Yeah, I think we're right about it. So as you can see here, we have Italy and Australia is set higher. Let's look how it looks in the Fire app. It's able just to get us a synchronized moment. No, of course not. So yeah, the difference is not synchronized, but like in order to let's if Heli is synchronized. No, not synchronized. One. That what I yeah, totally out of sync. What about the world feed? No. So this is a little bit of a challenge that this is very often becomes out of sync. Maybe now I just moved it around and then it became out of sync. But let me set the scene where we are right now. I think it might be put just to check it with Heli. No, Heli, it is there. This is in this, I believe. San Francisco fog is sitting. Playing is okay on this app. I'm not sure why the quality is becoming so bad. But starting moving around, I think it's a little bit imprecise, especially. Yeah. So as you can see, Australians are here, Italy here, Australia is setting up higher. They're on the highest, almost highest boats compared to Italy. Behind Italy, set also high. You can see Italy is basically selling low fish tanks, selling longer distance coming down. Australia is high here. Now Australia is coming lower, coming for like hook and finding it. Just trying to over here, and that's the wing cut. So that's just at the scene we're going to be looking at. You can see that that was Australia's like path from to the hook. Um, let's look. Start. This is in races. That, that's the point. So now Australia is high, lifted the board. Let's watch it all going lower. And at the most interesting point, it just stops. So they censored the most interesting point, exactly where the right a few seconds before the collapse. But nevertheless, I'm interested to see what we can see from the about the boat handling from the review. Strategist is on the leeward side, and flight controller is already on this on the new side, so that flight controller doesn't really need to control the boat. That's their last tag before the incident. They are set now high. Okay, Tom is at the wheel, now going lower, easing the main sheet as they accelerate, taking the main sheet in. So basically this is normal controlling for the hill. And then now when they come high, they a little bit eased. It looks like the main is a little bit more eased. And yeah, that's it. Then it stops. Hulls, as you can see at this moment, and we just saw it was never really between. It never really touched the water until the wheel started to disintegrate. Maybe watch once again. Just leave also some comments if you notice something interesting happening in here. The video that I have, the short video on YouTube, shows actually what Tom was doing with the wheel right away, but we cannot see the last moments from here, and there is nothing, just fishy. So easing sheet, in, out, nothing. Nothing like really, nothing weird. Okay, now I'm gonna watch it from the front cam. I think the only thing which is like really usable from the front cam of this situation would be the foil movement. Yeah, this one, yep, well, that's where it stops. This is pre-last tack. Flight controller here, strategist here, watching the boat. Flight controller is already in the place that he needs to be on the first. Going through the tack. Nice. So what they do now is also trimming, basically as the boat accelerates, trimming it the jib. Took a little bit more Cunningham of the jib. Is the jib now here? Tightened it. Just all more or less consistent with what you normally would do on the boat. I think also the front bow cam is also quite good to. That's from this angle you can see the best the trimming of the foil. Okay, two foils in water. This foil comes up. Okay, getting back and lift. Interesting to see. It's difficult to see if they are actually at this moment. They are. It looks like this arm is coming back, which means that there is a lift is perhaps increasing. I wonder if actually it's a visual effect that they other way around, that it's actually coming in by trying to increase the canting angle. Maybe it's easier also to see from the bottom. Here you can see the cant is pretty much in. Okay. Just now I'm watching here. Yeah, I think this looks like a little bit, yeah, I think it looks more like a cant Yeah, it's not that much of a lift because that would be a strange place now to increase the lift as they are going faster. But they're increasing the cant angle. So by cant angle, it's the angle. Don't know if I have a. Let's use the boat over here. I think I need to have much more sophisticated boats now to demonstrate the wheels. So if this one is the boat and over here you have the foil, I definitely need some improvement for this demonstration. Okay, let's see that this is the foil and this is T-shape foil. Gotta improvise now here. How is that for T-foil? I'll use this one here without the boat. So if this is the boat and this is the windward, so in this case, it's actually would be, no, how is it like? I will put it like this. And then it means that, yeah, this is the foil width, which is actually working. Is this? Yeah, okay. Bit like this, right? Because this is a mirror image. Okay. Anyway, so this is it's just like that. So by basically controlling the foil this way, you're either increasing the lift, so which means that the boat is then will be lifted, or decreasing the lift, which means that the hulls will drop. And obviously, if you're going faster when you bear off, if you really increase that lift, the boat will really increase the moment. So usually, even on the slower speed, you might increase the lift to take off, but once you're going faster, you would want to already kind of have it exactly where it's needed. So it will be a little bit lower amount. So you're not going to be over trimming it. But what you would do is that you would want to increase the as you go faster and as you load your main, you want to increase the cant. And that's where the changes to the boats are, is that you can change this angle. You can move T-foil is a little bit up and down, up and down. And then what we have is that when we have that will allow boat to increase the righting moment. So in this case, the sail is pushing the boat to heel this way. So the sail's over here right now is with my finger. So the wind is coming here. The boat is heeling this way. And if you have the foil straight up, then the force is only up. But if you turn, then the force is also pushing the boat this way. The more you turn, the more you will push, you will create the force on this hull to turn. Yeah, and then basically that's how you use this cant to actually be able to increase the righting moment, which means that you will be able to load the wings more and get the maximum out of the wings. So my improvised wing, I think hopefully it worked. So, but let's see what happens over here. So I think movement of this arm is actually foil cant. I think you can now see here, this looks a little bit like to me like it was a lift. It's from this angle very difficult to actually see if which one of them is lift and which one of them is can't. But I think if you look over here at the bottom, is that you can see. So now that's the place where we're gonna watch. Can I zoom in? Yes. That's after the tag. Now, as they accelerate, as you can now, you can clearly see over here that the rudder is moving, that the foil is moving out, increasing the cant. That's probably somewhere maximum cant, a little bit controlling the cant. And then coming in, here we lose for a moment the view of the cant, so maybe we need to watch the arm, what happened here. And then it goes. So let's okay. That's the starboard tack they're in now. Count is increasing, 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 playing with it, increasing, playing, increasing, playing, playing. Little pause. Super difficult to see, especially because there is this little moment of lost or pause over here. But yeah, don't know if we know much out of these things, but yeah, I think it gave also a little bit interesting angle and just see how they use the cant to set this up. Looking forward for basically the investigation results. I really hope that we'll just find the reason and what is the real reason for this wind collapse. Okay, I think it is enough about it for now. So those of you who just start to watch it for one reason or another, this is like a sail racing channel with a nerdy twist, as you can see. And also, if you want to watch these things a little bit early, I think the moment I'll try to publish it immediately after each event. And listen, yeah. So I will try to publish it immediately after each event, but you basically can sign up for these things. Yes, now it works in here. So just check it on the Patreon. So that's where I dump all my data first, and then wait immediately after the event. And then when I have processed the time, then I just will stream it to Instagram and the other channels over here. And then, yeah, go ahead and also watch it on the recordings on the Facebook and YouTube. Now, next one I want to talk is Spain win. So good sailed, really good. I think as commenters also mentioned this thing at the event, and they gave a credit to Spain of winning the race on the leeward gate by splitting from France and Canada. So that's when they say that's where the Spain won. And let me show you that exact event, because I have my point of view is like yes, but there is some nuance to it. That was race 2. I think it is worth watching it maybe from the helicam. I'll try to find. Now this is a close-up helicam. Let me see if I can just get the. Should be before, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why they didn't show it, because it's in the fog. So as you can see over here, the France is turning around right turn mark, Canada is following around that right turn mark, and Spain is here going around the left turn mark. This is the first leeward gate. Maybe just to, since this one is not working, let's check it on the umpire app. So as you can see, it's very much unsynchronized. So takes time to exactly find, okay, this is the start. So it must be somewhere here. Right. This is the leg 2. So let's watch now what commenters were crediting to Spain as the first key decision in the race. Well, as actually the key decision, what made them win. And I think I have a little twist on it, so that I want to see. Slightly bad quality over here for some reason, but you got the point. So this one is Spain, this is Canada, this is France. France is clearly leading. Canada is, of course, again better on their would be after their jibe. Spain goes. Canada just jibes in front. So here, of course, they're having a kind of close play. Difficult to see, but France is again coming first to the mark. Then comes Canada to the mark, and then Spain. And what Spain does here is jibes away, and as they exactly here, the commenter said, no surprise. And this is good. I mean, of course, that was a decision where actually luck was on the Spain side after that decision. But I think it is also, I would, as you said, there is no super, as the commenters say here, no surprise. And then other commenters said it also, that this is no brainer decision. It's really like you're coming to the mark after France and Canada, and you just split here. You split. There is really, unless there's a very strong evidence that there is nothing on the right side, you just don't, you don't follow. So, and I think that's the moment where after which one I think Spain got also a little bit lucky. Let's see the race dashboard. Um, maybe Spain and should I compare it? I'll compare it to Canada. Okay, so now again, not sure if it's all synchronized, but I think that's Spain tax on the first cross. What else they have? They have, hopefully it's just synchronized. It looks like have a good, no, heading is completely wrong. This is very difficult to watch because this data I don't think is synchronized. But anyway, as you can see over here, they just have crossed ahead of Canada. So they gained on that right side. And so they gained on the right side here. And let's see how they next time will cross with France. Yeah, there's more tax to do, so France will not be able to go with one tack to the windward gate, neither of Spain, but if they want to go around the left turn mark, France will need to do more. Okay, Spain gets some good lift over here, and I think they're looking pretty good also compared to France. Yeah, so they're crossing here also France. Let me put France here. It's a little bit now tricky. I don't know if I can fully trust this synchronization of this reading, because France is already on this mark, is already rounding the mark, and Spain is here just crossing. So yeah, it's very difficult because of the lack of synchronization. Very difficult just to understand where actually this reading coming in the race. But listen, I think what my point was over here is just to, yeah, okay, now they're just crossing the Canada for the first time. Uh, so this is after the windward gate over here. Spain after windward gate crossed Canada. Let's have this one will be Spain and this will be France. Cross there. Now it looks like on the right cam, it looks like they tacked already over here. And then let's see when would be the next cross. How would be the next cross with France. Yeah. I think what was I'm totally lost now in this synchronization. Honestly, I don't know where we are on the course. I think that's the most difficult part of it to watch. So I think once you the most clear view, I think it's just coming from the Empire app. But listen, what I want maybe now just to show is yeah, that's the point where I think was the critical one. So obviously, let's now watch. Come on, we already watched this. That's a split. Okay, let's watch. I think it's easier to watch it all. It's not going to take them that much time. So obviously, I think Spain here is on a bit more on a bit higher angle over here uh, than Canada. Do they sail? No, this shows 1 out of 6. So like, yeah, let's forget about this data. So Spain is now crossing in front of Canada, just like a beautiful track, and the Canada could not get into the high angle, so obviously they sailed higher. Spain again goes on high mode. Oh, and actually they already crossed France. Yes, already here. So Spain now is already in the lead. Okay, lead, but they need to defend. France is pushing all the way to the boundary. Spain, yeah, I think also. Now, of course, critical moment. Spain is on the header, lost the height over here. I think Canada, they didn't have to probably duck, or did they? Is there any penalty or any protests here? Alerts don't show anything. So I believe then it was just a header, a small header for Canada, and they did not push it. Yes, Canada lost because they had to tack to France. So listen, I think over here is Spain had just good moding. They had a really like they have a very clear like nice angles. They were able to sail and they get the left turn mark, which is seems to be a little bit shorter. France will go to the left turn mark. Canada is betted on this. I think there's some good, looks like the speed. The only way how to actually really estimate it without the sighting of the, without having a really good synchronized reading is to watch, of course, how spread those dots are and how long is this predictor ghost boat is ahead. But more or less, it's not very imprecise, but so I think now over here, this is the moment which I think was very critical for basically for Spain to win. And I think that's where I would give them much more credit for actually this situation, and I think that's where they won. So first turn at the leeward gate when they were coming, as Spain was coming right behind Canada, and France went forward. And as they said that this was critical for winning, yes, absolutely. But this is like what every sailor would also do in this situation. You would split. And they sailed the boat better. They got probably a little bit lucky, but obviously also was really good boat handling. And then they won the leg 3. Now, when they're coming to the leg 4, the composition is that what do we have? Canada coming on the starboard, France quite on the back over here, and I think tactically this was a good decision from Spain, but it has to be supported by their really good boat handling. So Spain crossing ahead of Canada. Sorry, this is Spain. This is Spain. This is Canada. So Spain coming ahead, and what they do right now, instead of basically just keeping it simple, that's what you usually do if you don't have good jibes and stuff. You would keep it simple. Then you would go over here, and then you see if you are able to you just if you want to do only one jibe, so then you will just go around this mark and then continue. Spain, what basically it does, they see that they know that Canada is not laying, because what they will do right now is that they know that the Canada would need to go and do at least one maneuver, or even two if they want to go around here. But probably what Canada would do, their tactics would be just to go over here, jibe on the ley line for this mark and left turn mark, and come here. So that's why Canada is basically zooming all the way from the boundary, that they went here to the boundary. They go over here. They cannot lay to the mark, to the boundary. They go here. They would need to do one more jibe. So it's basically 2 jibes downwind. 1, 2, and left turn mark. Spain, and I don't know who makes that decision on this, if a strategist or skipper, but yeah, then they go what they do, and Canada comes like that. Then they jibe in the open cover. So that's what you basically do as the sailor. You stay in between the mark and your opponent. So Spain goes over here. They know that Canada would need to jibe on the ley line, and Spain jibes exactly on the ley line. So they know that it's either the Canada will follow them around left turn mark, or would need to do one more maneuver and go around the other mark. So they're already basically protecting. So again, Canada jibes, and considering that Spain won on the first, what was this, leg 1, 2, 3? On the leg 3, coming around the left turn gate, so maybe perhaps the other teams also think this. And again, as you see, France has nothing to do but just to split and go around the right turn mark. So I would say that, in my opinion, this was exactly the moment when the Spain won it, because I think if they would be very conservative in the boat handling. They would actually go and, in this situation, they would go all the way, jibe. If they would want to do a 2 jibe maneuver, so then they will bounce off the ley line here, or bounce off the boundary here, then do a jibe and do a two jibe maneuver and go around the right turn mark. But probably because they want to have a left turn mark and want to protect against Canada, not giving them to lead around this mark, then they do extra jibes because the Canada clearly doing two bounce, bounce, and on the second jibe they will go here. And what Spain does is that they, instead of going like that here, they don't play it simple. They jibe here so that they can do jibe. So they did two maneuvers more. Two maneuvers more, risk of coming off the foils, risk of doing some like slowing down and the things. So it means that that's where the moment where they're both handling and communication and being spot on, calling the ley lines and positioning when to jibe is has to be perfect. So in my opinion, that's the place where actually Spain really defended their win, because it could have been very different if Spain would go around this mark and Canada would go around this mark. That might be that the Canada would have returned them the favor. They would come strong on the starboard and would return the favor that was on the leg 3. Okay, but let's see how it goes. Yeah. So basically, Spain stays between your opponent and the mark. Now Spain is pushing all the way to the boundary, bouncing off the boundary. So is Canada, because they basically like going for each centimeter. As you see, Spain is slightly conservative, not pushing it to the boundary, and Canada is pushing it more, because basically Spain, that would be a very silly penalty to give, because they would have to fall behind Canada on that one potentially. But Canada has probably in this situation not much to lose, so they can push it a bit more. Left side of the course is not paying to France. This is again some good boat handling. I think Spain was able just to find some height. I think it would be really great. So Canada starts to be maybe perhaps partly affected, but partly already starting to say, like, listen, we already just following Spain over here. We lost this game. We just need to defend and not. We need to defend our second place, and so we need to protect the France. So Canada is now perhaps also starting to play France. So that's exactly what they do. Plus, might be that they were also in the dirty wind. And now again, Canada has a possibility to split, get some possibility. Did not bounce all the way to the mark, because I think they'll probably call that they're already laying from where they are, laying to this mark. Okay, and Spain is just ahead. That's it. So listen, that was my take on why Spain won. I think it is, honestly, if I just have to put the main reason, that would be the boat handling. They had a very confident boat handling, so it means that they are able just to throw the maneuvers when needed. Um, and that's basically allowed them to do these maneuvers. So yeah, I think leg 4, that's where it happened. That jibe is basically allowed Spain to defend. They could have still stayed in the lead if they would not do that jibe and minimize the maneuvers and do a 2 jibe downwind, bounce and jibe on the lay. They would, but then they would come on port on the next cross with Canada, and who knows what kind of Canada would gain on the right, which seems to be right side was paying off. All right. So also credit to some commenters over there, because when that first jibe was given as a credit, I think somebody said, like, listen, this is no brainer. They would need to do that first jibe and split around the mark. What should we do next? Listen, I'm not sure if there's something that I don't know, like even what can be analyzed about the GBR, but we can look at it. I want to see if we can compare the tactics. I think just to say that if you want to watch now, we're going to go into the other things, but if you want to watch it later, I think all of it, of course, is can be found either on Patreon, or you can watch it a few weeks later on Facebook or YouTube, or just keep an eye on Instagram streams. But this was an interesting sort of pile up over here. So I kind of looked there how it happened in pile up, but the first race, as you could see, was a huge pile up around the mark, around the RC, so windward start mark. So which means that the boats have actually underestimated where they need to be. And I wonder, because it's a little bit strange, because I think they were in foiling. So I kind of pondered, could that be a current? Yeah, hard to say. It's doing this comparison is that I a little bit analyzed together with ChatGPT the current, and it doesn't seem to be that the current was already still kind of like playing. It was transitioning. It was definitely transitioning from slack to maximum ebb, which would be consistent with that the boats will be pushed towards the Golden Gate Bridge, as far as I understand. And please correct me in chat if I'm a little bit wrong. But basically, the timing of it should be come a little bit later. So I really don't know why on the first match all the boats got there together in the pile-up. But I think what we could try to see if it just works. Does it work for you? I think I made this comparison of one by one. If I put the maximum quality here. This is a comparison of all the starts, and there on this one, on the first day, I didn't figure out the way how to do the synchronization, time synchronization. But on the second day, I found the way to do that. So as you can see on the left, this is the first start where all of them actually ended up. Let me start from the beginning. So this one is not synchronized. I think they, as you can see on the first start, they all started in this pile, kind of close to the pin. And already in the second start, by learning it, they went significantly lower, all of them by the pin. None of them actually tried to. It's perhaps the teams wanted to get the windward position, and all of them kind of like tended to move one from another and try to get the wind, but they realized that the risk of it on the windward, if there is a pile, is big. So they actually, instead of maybe some of them started to go late rather than just high. And as you can see that here, they also were quite low, but maybe on the last one, they again pushed, some of the boats started to push a little bit more higher. I think the starts could be analyzed like really so maybe like we can just look first at the big picture, what's happening. So on the first one, as you can see, they all went to this corner and then tried to ended up with actually kind of locking each other in this boundary zone. I think on the second start, they were slightly more spread and some will started to fight for the pin. Here, I think I had it a little bit late. This seems to be, again, more fights on the center and for the pin. I think I should probably write down who won the mark. So, but we can actually see who won the mark, and we can do so. I made observations from here from two different tactics: Canada and Spain. No, sorry, Canada, Spain and France. So France is big proponents of the slingshot tactic. They really like to get from back, and I think it worked for them in race 1 and race 4. So slingshot tactics means that if this is there, so if this is the start over here, so as a slingshot tactics, you would just you would go from the back, and sometimes you will set height here. So if yellow would be here, or let's actually set green would be like France. So you will be the boat's actually just positioning over here and then going on slow mode, have on high and slow like that. Make this mark. You go from the back, time your start, and then find the gap. So if there's a gap over here, then you're already ready to see that you like here is a possibly gap the pin. Let's get the pin, and you just go there and you start from here, and that's how you get your slingshot tactics. Or that you see the gap is forming here, then you don't go that early, you stay here for a little bit longer, then you do the slingshot. The risk of course that if it's really crowded, you just come over here, and there's no gap. I mean, there's always a gap, but maybe the gap is a little bit changing. So the moment you think that there is a gap here, but by the time you accelerate, then there is no gap over here, and then you need to go for another gap which is opening, and you probably might be already late. But let's see how France is doing its tactics. So, slingshot tactics. France is here. So I believe also if you'll be watching it, you might need to zoom in later, but I'll try to show you where France is at every moment. So here you see on race 1, over here, clearly staying on, but so is actually a lot of others staying high, and on the back, other teams go forward, taking the first row. Now that's where France went from here. They're going slingshot, going fast. Of course, really thing with the slingshot that because you're moving fast, you'll be able to find it's more or less the same way as to go in the board stack and find the gap and tag the start there. So it's a pretty good start because they found this huge gap at the pin and they had a good acceleration and everything. So they're coming first into it mark. worked because there was a gap. Everybody was at the sea. Now let's see race 2 when it did not work for them. Again, they're setting up in the top back corner, slowing down here, quickly because they need to kill time. And now over here, they're thinking, okay, where's the gap? Which gap are we going to? This one? We are over there, they won't be able to cross. Okay, now they need already to go. All right, let's go for this one. GBR can close it for them. Okay, GBR also goes for it. And then now just behind the back of all these boats. And yet GBR comes to them. So that's the thing, is that the gap was not very visible at this race. Race 3. This started a little bit late, so but France is, as you can see here, they went to find the gap closer to the pin. I think now is much more pronounced that there is a gap over here. France coming here. That was actually was the start. A little bit tried to maybe went the yes, they went too early. You can see here this is also like laughing. So New Zealand, I think that was the reason. So all it was just didn't work out. So I would give it link shot tactic would work also here if they would just they had also room to lever to kill the time. So what they did is there was a couple of boats here. There was New Zealand here. France came as this boat, and then let me calculate the time. We should have went a little bit more, and then came here. But because they came right, so they tried to laugh New Zealand by trying to kill the time, and they were all CS. Right, and now I think on the last fourth, starting to get slingshot tactics worked for them. So this is their fourth start. I'll go a little bit more back because I think it's worth to see how they enter the box. I think this is always critical. So now France was one first to enter the box. I think this is one is perhaps just because they also want to get to this box. I hope this sound, I hope everything is coming across okay. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. Okay. And then this time France did not go all the way until the right corner. It's actually a little over mixed hybrid strategy. They were not slingshot, but staying just on the second row and then trying to find a gap. So yeah, I think this is not a typical slingshot tactics. They were second row tactics, which is and then finding the gap. So, but worked out for them. They went also down just to also capitalize and consolidate against these boats, not to be locked. And yeah, coming first to the windward mark. Sorry, to mark 1. And maybe just to compare it to Spain, I think that was a completely different tactics. And I think Spain mostly. So yeah, well, maybe just to talk, I think I would say that this would probably work out in 2, how many, like 1, did not work out here. I would say it's worked out in 3 races out of 4, but actually slingshot tactics was not used here. So I would say, yeah, worked out in 2 out of 3 races. In the second race, they were not able to find the gap. It was really messy fleet. Now, Spain. Spain is actually now also, as you often see, that in tactics, they try to get in the front row. And they try to get in the front row and find the way to leave and accelerate from there. I think it is a little bit more nuanced for us actually to see what they do, but I'll be able to. So on the first race, Spain started like late and low. That's where Spain is. They tack one of the first ones. They tack into leading. Not, but still they are not leading because all the other boats, there's a few boats to leeward of them. That's why not in the front row. Spain is now in sort of like a second row position. They managed to get into that gap and started. But obviously the start is a lot to analyze. We're just looking only at the whole at only the umpire view here. Spain is now coming low. Kind of like maybe closer to the end of the pack. Attacking. But again, still clearly, as you can see, Spain is in the front. It's not staying like France over here in GBR a little bit in the back. So they are going to the front and maybe sometime first row or second row. Oh, yeah, good start, decent start for Spain. Did they win? Let's see. Actually, I think, where did I pick up Spain to watch? Because I think they might have won. Yeah, I think they won this. And winning the Mark 1 is very important for in SailGP. I think statistically, if you win the Mark 1, you have very good chances basically to win the race. As you can see, Spain is now here very much yeah, leading. And let me see now this Spain is here. And again, they just come here. They don't go fast. Instead of, you see a lot of boats went long path. They tack and go kind of like slowly upwind, pinching. Might be good then to see, are they going even H1 probably. But obviously maybe did not work out for them. Now they're on the second row. Okay. Finally, I will watch the last start. Let's again watch the Spain tactics here. Go back to see how they entered the box. Here is Spain. Set low, kind of middle-ish. The pack. Probably gonna attack soon. Like somewhere, maybe 3, 2, 1, something like that, right at the boundary. Okay, will not probably, again, they're trying to stay in the front row. They will not go for any early hooks here and just stay here. Kind of like a second row when France now comes zooming in there. And this is sort of like finding the place from the second row, finding the gap from the second row. And I believe it was not that bad for Spain. So, nah, actually not that good either. That was where the France rolled them over. So, of course, this is not also only about the start. Of course, that's how you also sail there to the Mark 1. Yeah, this was the first day. I think also I have a second day. Honestly, one can watch the starts, I guess, forever, and we haven't even started to. I haven't started to look what the boats are doing in terms of the boat handling. It's more about just like a first kind of like a tactical positioning on the general or actually strategical position, what they decide, like how they are going to go. These were the last day, I think. Race 5, 6, 7, and final. This is synchronized around so that they more or less start at the same time. That's why some of them are still paused. So I have all of those videos. If you want to see them in the better resolution, I got them video links on Patreon. So I just published them immediately after the race. Let's watch the same guys that we watched before, Spain and France. France doing the slingshot tactics, or let's see if they're doing slingshot tactics. So that would be France, for example. On race 5. Where's France? Here is France. Yeah, that was just trying to say that it's really weird that's where the position they were. I think they want to be on the back, and yes, they exactly what they went there just to take position from the back, and then I don't think they had enough time just to go and attack from the back. So they are now front row. Oh, sorry, yeah, the second row tactics. So again, they like to find a place. This is a place for France. This is asking for them, and they basically controlling the juice. And here we go. France is exactly gonna go to this spot because they have room. So it's all about the timing. That was actually pretty good for them. But then the question is, are they starting at the right place? I think slingshot, of course, really works is that if you really can execute it from the so that you are having a really superior speed to the rest of the team, that they're still accelerating right after the start gun. But now with their second row tactics, I think France. Oh no, that was wasn't. They actually went entered wide, exited tight, and I think this is not that bad for them. They went into a jibe, so still pretty good position. So I think. Let's watch if they are doing in the race 6. Slingshot tactics, I think it's again, they're going in front. So perhaps that would work for them. Let me just scroll forward until they enter the box. Yeah, I appreciate that. Actually, I think the resolution is pretty, maybe not that great over here, but I think this is fun to watch when they're all compared one by one, when you can see where there's. So, but this one you can get the full file in by the link. By the link there, you can get the full file. So, where's France? Yes, France goes there. Clearly, I think very much wants to go on the back row, goes all the way to the boundary after the tack. I don't know about the timing, but I think I thought they will set higher, but maybe not. Not yet. I think they already was probably trying to get into that. Kind of surprised. Maybe I thought that in the pure slingshot tactics would be just to go higher and then shoot, but I think they're already a little bit. Yeah, they're late. I think they were late. That's why there was no way for them to. There is no time for it to do any already slingshot. They should have entered uh, much earlier for that one. But even though they were in the front row, yeah, definitely they were in front row. So going slow. Interesting. So now this one is the 7th race, dramatic one, where Australia, that we discussed earlier, where they had the wing collapse. France is again entering the box first. And as you can see also in the already, even as a spoiler alert for the final, they were entering first the box. So France enters the box first. That's how they basically like that. Entering the box last allows you to tack into the leading position. But here is again setting themselves high. Slow. Okay, which gap they will choose. I think it's already probably about the time they cannot do it anymore. It's now behind the screen here. Is that France? Yes, exactly. Coming fast. And now the gap, that was the situation that I just said, that when the situation has changed, probably France maybe want to have, as France coming over here, they would love maybe just to get this gap opening, or this gap, which gives them maneuvers to accelerate, but they're now coming like that. I'll put the different colors of the boat. Let's have black, Brazil here, Spain, Switzerland, something like that. That would be a good gap for them to go. But as they accelerate, Brazil closes that gap, and France goes there and knows that they cannot go there, and then have to go in here, which is still probably okay. I think they get the gap, but I think, and here on the race 7, they having a really nice leeward start, probably will win the Mark 1. Yeah, they went the leeward mark, but that's again very good example where you need to they're a little bit slowed down here, but still not bad, not bad. They went as the most inside bow to the Mark 1, so pretty good start. And but the thing is that that's where it's super important to be also very fast adaptable, because they were clearly coming for this gap. They came even a little bit higher, then realized Brazil is closing. That's not the gap they have, and then went lower again to get that gap. So yeah, that requires also a very quick reaction. So first while you're in the slingshot, you kind of see probably you should go like gap 1, gap 2, gap 3, which one you can do. So this one looks promising. So go there and then adapt, but also estimating the time, though you're moving fast, so you can um, move better. And let's watch now the last one, the final. So do you think France would go first? Of course they will. Bear with me. Technical difficulties. There we go. Okay, France entered the box first, as you can see, going again, setting up for the highest start, like tacking very slowly. Still going high. Now they actually rolled over France, but still in the slingshot tactics went for a hook and went for the like a lower position. There we go. France had a really good start, but as you can see, their track is the most like big curvy one, big waves like that. And in here you can see that Spain went with a front row tactics again for the start. Let's watch the final again. They're the last one to enter the box, which means that they will tack into the lead. Yeah, even actually they tack very early. So I would say that I thought that they would actually go a little bit more forward, and then they go high and slow. And since they go high and slow, they are more or less happy to be hooked by France. They know that they're not going to fight the France. They know that what they're fighting now, they're going to try to go for the RC, and then they need to win Canada. Canada goes from the second row, hooking Spain. And yeah, I don't think it was very greatly worked out for Spain here. How did they do on the other? Let's see if the front row worked for them in the previous, in races 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, Spain again low here and not the first one, quite entering the box quite late. Going even lower. Blocked by Canada for tacking. Yeah, let me know. So how I should actually synchronize it also with some other views. So maybe just pick up some team and then analyze their start. Okay, again, the Spain is on the front row, just trying to get this, but then they're falling back and becoming a second row as USA. No, wait, my bad. I was looking at the wrong. Spain exactly stayed in the front row. That's what they tacked. Yeah, they basically just go slow. Maybe they're getting left, maybe not. And then they find the place and let's see how they're Mark 1 on race 5. Decent, pretty decent. They are third to round it. Who won? Aussies. Aussies won the 6. Let's see what Aussies did. Aussies were exactly at the very, very late to the box. Just skipping. They were late to the box and then tacked definitely just underneath the fleet, trying to lay to the pin. Timed their slow start, late to the pin. Okay, so basically that was a pin start. That's why how Aussies won this. Now we're gonna watch the second start. Again, Spain starting quite low, kind of a little bit on the back, but not fully. Actually, now more in the mix. I'll have my mouse so that you can see. This is where Spain is. How do I make the mouse big? Just right now it was like huge. Yes, okay, move it like that. That's where Spain is. Again, front row. Slowly creeping to the start. Already basically take your place in the front row and just hope that the boats around you kind of cooperate so that you have a room to accelerate and start in the middle of the pack. Probably not going to work that well for them. And who won the start? Oh, no. No, actually, it's pretty good. The angle. I think this is now probably hitting the good angle because they're the first one. Well, yeah, they're the first. Spain was first. It worked out for them. Now, race 7, the eventful one, the one that we watched with Australia losing the wing, that were analyzed before. Spain, low and back here. Yes. I think for proper analysis would be also good just to have a countdown, but listen, that would require actually quite a lot of time for synchronize and do everything in here. Okay, now Spain is taking the pin. So they're in the front row, but they're just trying to get the pin. Brazil is a little bit struggling to accelerate for good getting. Okay, yeah, that's why they're basically then they're closing it to France. France take the pin, and Spain now it's all about the last acceleration. I think obviously the front row also allows good acceleration. You need to have a very good acceleration in the last moment. And now Spain falling back into the back. And France is getting the front row. Yeah, that's it. That was analysis of the starts. Just listen, yeah, let me know if there's something. This is probably the most nerdy one that I went so far, but not too much nerdy because there was no data. It would be really great um, to put some kind of like also data for it. So listen, if you want to get to uh, full resolution of it, just click that link, get to the Patreon. I think this would be the some kind of like a place there. But these streams are also coming later on to all social media, so you can actually check it there. So there we go. I think now we covered. Oh, my bad. Bear with me for a moment. So now we covered pretty much everything that I wanted, maybe just to cover today. Yeah, we didn't look also how GBR did and what was went wrong, but let's see, maybe they'll bounce back. Everything would be okay. I think there was a number of topics that I'm not also going to cover now. It was a lot of. I wanted to look at the bear offs because we discussed it in the previous streams how to do the bear off without digging the hull. But I maybe we can get something from the boat handling, but from the videos, but probably not everything. But that would be a super nerdy topic to look at there. Plus, there is a lot of umpiring related interesting situation that I want to look at it. So yeah, I have the links for that one in somewhere in, uh, in the post, in the Patreon post over here. What was the? Yeah, there was one more thing. How I want to finish it, and I think that was a really, really nice, nice nice display of the seamanship, and I think it's going back to that situation with the wing collapse, and I think it's really well done in here. But let me now show you what I mean. because they have the 360 cameras at the stern. So Italy basically also showed how it looked from their boat, but not only like the collapse of it, but also how the Italian crew reacted. And I think this is a really great way of actually handling these things. So as the boat comes here, wing collapse, 1, 2, 3. Obviously, Italy boats accelerate, and I think wing trimmer Kyle. I think Kyle is here, right? He's just like, okay, of course it's his also Australian mates, but I think this is also just like checking, are you guys okay there? You all survived? Like checking, like, all good? Thumbs up. Okay. And checking the rest of the crew. And I think it's a huge respect for basically checking up and making sure that everything okay instead of just really zooming away. Of course, there is marshals. There is always the safety boats. They are going to be there in a matter of seconds. And again, in these boats, you cannot do much. The marshals there would be faster. I mean, it's not that Ruji can turn this boat and come there and save anybody there who is in station. But I think this is a sort of like great act of seamanship. They're quite close. They're on the radio. If they see something, they can very quickly relay to they're the closest one to the incident. And I think I just really like how this thing is so ingrained in the basically sailors. So as you can see, it's over here. They're checking thumbs up. Strategist also looking kind of like, are you guys okay? Or like a little bit. Ruji also just all that keeps on looking back, even though that of course he needs to catch up with all these boats, but he's just looking back. Uh, yeah, good. And you need to always remember that, as just said over here, if you're just sailing anywhere, somewhere, this is rule number one. This is, if you look at the rule book, this rule number one is helping those in danger, right? So if you are like a boat, you should give all the help to all the person in vessel in danger. And even if you kind of not sure, and if they're not even shouting to you in danger, but it really looks that they might be in danger, I think you should, you actually shall go and help them. And I think this is extremely critical for as a rule number one for sail racing. Okay. Well, on this positive note, I think we'll finish for today. Yeah, I think I will probably, when it comes to the agenda, the remaining topics, I'm not going to be covering it soon. I think I will be in the next week. I will be again experimenting with this SailGP event, which is we're going to have a second event, and there will be racing. I think I will be on the organizer side. We'll see how we can actually provide also figure out umpiring, or at least like maybe post-race judging. So very actually excited, because I think hydrofoils generation, that's the game which actually really would allow to have a very realistic sail racing. So I'm absolutely, and foiling, I'm super excited. If you want, just go to please go. I lost something. I lost some of the camera. I think I lost one of the camera here. So yeah, what I wanted to show is that please go to the YouTube if you want to see about the hydrofoils generation and how it actually mimics SailGP. It's really fantastic, and I think you get a lot of this really settings. You can set the boat to the different camber, you can set the twist, you can set the different rudder differential. So it's very, very nice and nuanced, not just like turn right, left, and not to mention that you sheet the jib and you control the pitch of the rudders. Super, super excited actually just to be also see if this could become a little bit of a bigger competition. So that would be on the next week. And then after that one, we'll be umpiring the race radio controlled boat. So that's umpiring in Croatia, the Europeans. So hopefully it might be an interesting material also coming from there. So that's it. I think it's enough for today. Stay tuned and we'll be continuing covering sail racing with a nerdy twist. All right, take care.